My kid came very excited, like, Mom.
I should open the door, but this is I parked right here. I just went pretty fast. I saw the door open, like I'm not going any further.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, you know, no, I've been looking. Yeah. All right, I'll see you. I'm gonna send some tissues. So I so I get them tissue pack. Yeah. I said, well, it is what it is. Like, you know, it's high outside. Like, I said, that's just the issue. Like, I'll take tissue. Yeah. It's like me. If the kids don't complain on the building, I don't turn it off.
Just the fact that we have like, all your pictures there. Okay. Yeah. Test. Okay, welcome everybody. I'm going to go get started, and as people walk in, then this slideshow, there's a QR code at the end, so you guys can take it home. I'm not going to go through everything in detail, but you'll definitely have a chance to do that for yourself. So good evening, welcome to Oilerville. I'm Mr. Gutierrez, Rafael. I'm the athletic director. I'm starting my 12th or 13th year. I've been here almost 30 years as a baseball coach, teacher in the health department, PE teacher, and now the athletic director. So just welcome. It's great to have you guys here. Some of your seasons have started, but this is a meeting we have every season, whether it's a fall, winter, and spring, just to introduce who your kids, who the people your kids are spending a lot of time with, which are your coaches, and ultimately to also meet some of the staff, myself, the principal, our assistant principal, and just review some of the rules of high school athletics. For the people that are new, it's very new for you. High school athletics is very competitive, very demanding. It's not like Little League or youth basketball where it's 6 to 7 weeks, maybe a couple hours a week. This entails almost close to 15 hours a week, a lot of games, a lot of conditioning, and it's a great avenue for your son or daughter to really focus on the whole high school experience and make sure that academically they stay focused, because I think our coaches probably say that enough, that your academics are first and the athletics come as a reward for doing well in the classroom. So welcome everybody. I'm going to go through a couple of slides. Over here to my right, I'll introduce him a little bit later. He's going to go over a couple of slides, Mr. Duarte, and our assistant principal will go through a couple of slides also, Jennifer, okay? So as you can see, my first slide is our baseball softball field, our new aquatic center that we're very happy that the state's almost done approving that project. It's close to a $13 to $14 million project for aquatics, and that'll hopefully start in January, February, where they break ground. And in spring of 26, we'll have probably one of the top aquatic centers in the area. We also have our football field, and we're going to address that a little bit later. And then this was the renderings, but if you haven't been to a volleyball game, we got a brand new, close to $500,000 basketball court that looks beautiful, and hopefully if you get a chance, you can go by and see a volleyball game. Okay, the overview, I'm going to talk about eligibility and grades. That's very important. We do have guidelines from CIF and the school district and Montebello High School in regards to academic behavior and grades to be eligible to play in any athletic event here. Also, Mr. Duarte will talk about the athlete code to document from the district that touches on some important items for parents and the student. Next, we'll go to Ms. Marino will do the spectator conduct. Hopefully, we have you guys at a lot of games supporting. We just have expectations from ourselves, the district, and CIF on how to conduct yourself during a sporting event. And then I'll talk about nutrition and health. It's very important that considering all the activity they're doing daily, that they are, taking care of their body and making sure that they are doing the things they need to do to excel and be at their fullest energy, attentiveness, focused come the games, okay? And then some other couple of websites, Google Sheets that I want to share with you guys in case you have any questions on what's going on here at Montebello High School. Okay, eligibility. The eligibility happens at the same time. I'll show the calendar in just a bit. It's 2 weeks after the conclusion of the grading period. So if grades end on a Friday, October, whatever it might be, 2 weeks after that, the reports are given to us. The athletic secretary pulls them up and sends the messages to the coaches. 2 weeks after that is when they become eligible again, or they can become academically ineligible where they can't play anymore. This would fall in the 11th week. All of the policies remain the same in regards to they have to have a 2.0 and pass 4 classes. It's very simple. People think, oh, a 2.0, but kids struggle, and they have to stay on top of their grades, or else the 2.0, you'd be surprised how many we lose because they can't pass 4 classes and gain 12 academic points. If the athlete does not pass 4 classes, there's no probation. There's nothing we can do. They turn in their uniform, and they can still participate as a practice player to earn PE credits. But if they don't pass 4 classes, they're immediately ineligible. If they pass 4 classes and it's the first time they've done it and still have under 2.0, they can go on probation for a grading period. But if they go on back-to-back probation periods, they're also ineligible. Okay. And here's the schedule that the district has put together. The grading periods. The first grading period is 44 days, August 12th through October 11th. So the eligibility will take place on Saturday, October 26th. And that'll affect the majority of the sports. I think the only one that, well, volleyball will probably be in the playoffs. And I think everybody, yeah, it'll affect the majority of sports. And for some, it affects them like down the stretch, like the last 2 weeks of the season when they need that win in that big game to make the playoffs or win a league title. And you always hate to hear, like, some key players are ineligible. Now they lose the last couple of games. The season ends, no playoffs, no championships. So it does affect a lot of sports here down the stretch. And then we have the next quarter that's in the winter from October 14th through December 20th, the last day of school. And then also the following grading period, which is January 13th through March 21st. And then the final one, which is it's March 24th through June 6th. And I just, I put a couple of things that have your son or daughter just keep checking power schools. And as soon as you see a grade drop to low B or a C, you as a parent have to address it and support them and tell them, hey, what are we going to do? We got to contact the teacher. You're falling behind. You're not asking questions. You got to attend tutoring and ask somebody at Montebello High School. We got tons of staff here. We're here to help. We're here to make sure you're successful during that season, but ultimately the whole 4 years. So, but I always ask, when parents, sometimes they ask me, I didn't know, but you got to ask questions, parents. Ask your kids questions. What's going on? When's the grading period? How are you doing in classes? Why are you struggling in this class? If it's math and science they're not very good at, or whatever class it might be, go get help. The tutoring schedule will be out pretty soon, and you'd be surprised how very little students seek tutoring. Or even the teacher will ask them, anybody need help at the end of the period? I'm here on nutrition if you want to come by. God forbid you're not with your friends, but at some point you got to say, I got to occasionally go see my teacher and get some help. Okay, I'm going to call Mr. Duarte out here. It's not a very good copy, but he's going to touch on some of those. It's a good handout from the district, and here's Mr. Duarte, our principal.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. And actually, I'm glad he found that because I think it's pretty useful. Very small, but I kind of summed it up a little bit. Another thing, too, that brought up as far as a GPA. If you have a freshman or a sophomore, 9th or 10th grader, things have changed. A through G, that means, guess what? You don't get that point for the D anymore, which is going to change the thing. So if you're a junior or a senior, you're still okay. You get that 1 point. But now if you are a sophomore or a freshman, like we said, now it's going to be, you might not be eligible because that D does not count. You have to get a C or better moving forward. So that's going to change the dynamics that just brought to us recently. So make sure you stay on top of your classes. How many of you parents have Power School? Power School, that's the way to go. That's the way to stay on top of it. You say, how do I know? Power School, and you can communicate with the teachers, and that's just an easier way because they're not going to tell you until it's a little late, and so stay on top of it. A couple of things that we talk about athletics and in particular athletic code. The reason that we really value athletics at our school is because it gives kids motivation. It teaches them fair play, teamwork, sportsmanship, discipline. And believe it or not, the kids who get involved in many things, clubs, sports, do better in class because they know they have to stay on top of it, right? As opposed to a student that just gets here at 8:30, leaves at 2:30 or 3:30, and doesn't get involved. They tend not to be as organized. And that's what we want to do, multitask, to be able to do complete more than one thing. Because when they move on to college or career or other things, as you know, as parents, you do multiple things, right? So a couple of things there. Also on the field right there, we talk about fair play and respect, the officials, making sure that we do not talk back to the officials, being gracious in victory and also in defeat. Those are the things that we talk about and we preach about. In the classroom, having good attendance. That's our big initiative right now, making sure that students show up every day and they show up on time. Walking your girlfriend to class and being late is not okay. And if that happens, we talk to the coaches and you might not play. We don't want that to happen. Be responsible, be leaders on campus, because that's another part about being an athlete. You're a leader on campus. You're representing our school on the field and also when you walk down the halls with that nice jersey, the nice apparel that we have. good behavior, obviously, and we have amazing kids that we don't really have big behavior issues, if you will. We do have some issues with making sure that kids have higher expectations for themselves academically, and that they move to class a little quickly, because if they're not in class, as we know, we live in crazy times. You're safer in the class than you are outside the class. So we want to make sure you're there so you can follow the directions if we have an emergency from your teachers. Also off campus, those things, we do keep an eye on that. If you're posting things on social media and you're wearing a uniform and representing our school and it's in a negative light, it's going to impact you. I know sometimes parents get upset. They say, Mr. Duarte, but that happened at home. Yeah, but you're still representing our school, and we have high expectations for you. You should represent our school in the right light. Having higher standards for yourself in the classroom. Can't read that one. Getting old. And also the enforcement piece. There's multiple things that we do here. We talk about ed code. If you get suspended for something on campus, you're not going to play that day. You might not play for a couple of days. You might not play for a week. That's education code. And then the other part that's also telling is talk about penal code. If you get in trouble, and that's an obvious one, I hope people understand penal code. That means if you get in trouble with the law, it still impacts you here on campus. So that's our expectation for them, is that they understand the responsibility that they've taken on being an athlete here at Montebello High School. 115 years of history, and it doesn't mean you're going to be a Division I player, but we wanted you to act like a Division I player. That's important to us. And a couple of things that are in there, the parents, there's a protocol as far as, if you have an issue. I think that's the last one I'll touch upon. If there's a concern that you have with academics, with a coach, there is a protocol. Please talk to the coach, give him the benefit of the doubt. People want to come to me directly or go to Mr. Gutierrez. You go right to the coach and you talk to them. This is my concern. The other one is, why isn't my kid playing? As you guys know, this is high school. Not everybody plays in a game, right? You make the team. That's a great thing. Do you always play in a game? No, but you are part of the team, because practice is just as important. It gets everybody ready. Of course, we work up to it, and hopefully everybody gets a little chance to play, but that's not something that's a given. So if you have a concern, please address it with the coach first and foremost. And then, of course, there's a chain of command that goes to Mr. Gutierrez and, of course, myself. If there's something really egregious, you don't feel comfortable, of course, you can come to us. But usually our coaches are amazing. They're really good at getting back to you and giving you the information you need. But that's our athletic code, and I guess we'll pass it on the next one. Ms. Moreno, come on up, and there you go, spectator conduct. Thank you.
Okay, just to piggyback, just like we have high expectations of our athletes, we also have high expectations of our spectators. Once again, we're all representing Montebello. We are going to be at schools. We are going to go places. We're going to see other teams probably not be respectful. I'm sure they're going to have comments, but we can control what we do, right? So our expectations is that we're going to make sure that we have a positive and safe environment for our students to play in. Keep in mind, this is high school, right? We're going to have more games. Do we like to win? Yes. Are we going to lose? Yes. But that's what helps us build character, and that's how we learn and grow, okay? For our spectators, there are a couple things. We want to make sure that we are the role models for our students. They're going to behave how we behave. Okay, we want to make sure that we're promoting the learning and the growth for our students and our athletes. We want to make sure that we are not in any way, shape, or form saying things that are inappropriate, vulgar comments, making comments to the umpires, the referees. They're human. They're going to make mistakes. I have 3 athletes at home, and we do sports all day long, and let me tell you, I probably disagree with them 90% of the time. It's what it is. right? But our job is to sit there and support and cheer our students on, not to engage in conversations. If someone else is doing it, we're going to control ourselves, okay? There are consequences. There are consequences for our conduct. It could be removal from the competition. It could be inability to attend future competitions for either all or a portion of the season. This isn't what we want. Our kids need us out there, right? In addition, what we already touched, that we need to respect our coaches, administrators, teachers, other spectators. It's important to remember to stay in your seat. I have never been at a sporting event where it was a good idea for both teams to be on the same side, or for our parents or spectators to go and hang out on the other side. It's important that we sit where we're supposed to be sitting. It helps keep the peace. It helps keep it a positive and fun environment for our student athletes. All spectators must remain off the field. That includes during halftime. I know sometimes kids like to go out there and play during halftime. We need to make sure that we stay off of the field, off all the facilities, remain in our designated areas, comply with any directives or, any, whether it's from the coaches, whether it's from the administrators, whether it's from the other school. Always remember that you are representing Montebello, okay? And we have Oiler Nation on our shirts. They know where we come from. We want to make sure that we're always representing and being respectful for our kiddos. Coaches coach. Our job is to cheer and support, okay? And then no artificial nosemakers, remain fully clothed, and don't throw any objects on the fields.
Okay, thank you to both of them. So they touched on a couple of things about if you're new to high school and you have a concern, talk to the coach. Myself, Mr. Duarte, Ms. Moreno, we go watch a game for 2 hours, but your coach has been with your son or daughter probably for 10 hours that week, and every week. Okay, so they can tell you, this is what I'm seeing at practice, this is what I'm seeing from teachers, academic, and a lot of things decide who gets to play in the starting lineup. So just make sure to talk to the coach. We ask first that the player or the athlete talk to the coach first. And that's big for me. Like, they have to learn how to talk to adults first and communicate. And, I think the coaches respect them a little more, that they come up and share their thoughts in an young adult manner, and can express what they are thinking about, what they're concerned, and the coach will give them an answer, and they can share with the parents. And if the parents still would like to meet with the coach, that could always be arranged. But it's always player to coach first, parents to coach second, then the AD gets involved, and from there, the administration. But like I said, they see them every day for 2 to 3 hours, and they know a lot about your son or daughter, okay? And the ever popular, second to last slide, the nutrition part. As they come to high school and they're getting up early, they're in the classroom for 6 hours, it's extremely hot, they're sweating all day. Just try to monitor their eating habits. I got this from the American College of Sports Medicine. Tell them not to worry about their weight, that they should focus more on building muscle, lifting weights, protein. Infrequent meals cause problems. We had a football player the other day at the scrimmage. I walked up and he was in the shade by the stands. And me and the trainer always think, like, any kid that goes down that's not injury, it's because our first question is, when was your last meal? So I go up to the kid and I see him with the sandwich. I said, you didn't eat anything today, did you? He goes, no. So you ate dinner at 6. You slept till 6 in the morning. It's 3 o'clock. You got the 3 o'clock game in the heat on the turf wearing a helmet and pads, and you haven't eaten in over 15 hours. You're not going to feel well, and you're lucky it wasn't worse. But they were dehydrated, and the coaches tell them there's meals at 2-3 times during the day. The coaches can have granola bars. They can have plenty of water, but just monitor that they're eating throughout the day. and maybe take a snack if they're playing late at night or late in the evening, so they can have something right before they get on the field. The fresh, fruit, good or bad, the wrong choice. You have that, the relative energy, the hydration part with the heat that we've had. They should be drinking water all day. We have drinking stations, but they got to be careful on what they're selecting, because for kids, it's just easy to go to the vending machine and their diet is the Takis and a Gatorade. And that's going to keep me going, for about an hour or so. But then you're going to crash as soon as you go out on the field with your coach and you're doing 2 hours of activity. So that's, we didn't put Takis as a part of the plan over there, or soda, or, chocolate bars. So try to monitor that, and you'll see the difference in their attitude, their difference in their attention span in the classroom. You'll see the difference in their grades. It's all that stuff promotes all the benefits in the classroom, just mentally, physically, by being careful what they're eating. And then, try to really watch what their sleep habits are. I know it's easy to be on TikTok and look at 800 videos for 3 hours at night, and they got to get a good 7, 8, 9 hours of sleep regularly. And, I put up there, eat, water, sleep. And, I went to a baseball coach, college coach told me, he tells his athletes to, try to eat something that grows on a tree, something that grows from a plant or the ground, or try to eat something that swims in the ocean, or something that walks on land. And the Gatorades, chips do not fall into any of that. So just ask them, are you eating enough? Make sure that when they come home, they're not having a humongous meal and then they're tired from being in the sun. They have a humongous meal and then they just want to crash and go to sleep. And then what happened to the homework? And what worked out for me, and I'll give you personally for me and my son, was waking up early and doing homework. I did it in college. I got my son into it, where at night he would fall asleep. He was doing golf in high school, and he had trouble on the golf course walking for 3 hours, 2 hours. He'd come home, have a meal, and then he couldn't focus on his homework. And I said, well, go to sleep at 9 and wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, do homework for 2.5 hours. And he did that like 2-3 times a week. That was his routine. If he had a long day on the golf course, he would go to sleep early and wake up early and do his homework. And I did that. It was accommodating for me in college for my work schedule. I did UPS in the middle of the night, so I would wake up early, had 6-7 hours of sleep, and at least I was fresh, and everything that I did in the morning after sleeping, and then I went on to class. So that's just a little note, but just help them out with their diet, and monitor it, and maybe teach them the proper way to be a successful athlete with exercise, sleep, and nutrition. Okay. The last one I'm going to share, the last slide for today, is just a couple of the social media, the websites, the practice grid. Social media is very popular. I could send out 100 emails, but if I do a post, I'll have like 800 views in like an hour. People love it. I mean, it's great. It's about 3 years ago, the old former ASP person really showed me how to do Instagram. I just thought like, God, it's taking too long. And then little by little, she taught me how to do a lot faster. So I enjoy, I put posts probably, I do 2 to 3 per day. Any activity I can take a picture and post, I like to do it. So Oilerville, I know every sport here is sort of required to have an Instagram page, because kids will know when practice starts if you put it on Instagram. But if you tell a kid or send them an email or you put it on a piece of paper, they will never know when practice is. But if you put it on social media, they know exactly what's going on when you program. So check the Oilerville on Instagram. We do have a website for the people that still like going to websites. Let's see if the link works. If not, I'll show it at the end. Oh, there it is. Yeah. So we partner with the company Mascot Media, and this one's a lot more work to post stuff. Like I got to sit behind a desktop, but you can find a lot of information here. It's a cool little website. The schedules are here, but always check Instagram, because Instagram schedules are a lot more accurate because this one, I have to go on the company's website and do some changes, and they're trying to get it updated with that home campus. But yeah, so we have a website, and let's see. And there's a practice Google sheet. So we have a Google sheet with like 15 tabs, and there's a Google Calendar. I love Google Sheets. That's how I survive as an AD. And each sport has a tab, and they have to tell me what they're doing every month. So that if a parent calls me and they don't know in practice, I go there and I go, well, they're practicing today at this time. So your coach should have shared the Google Sheet. And if people call the main office, the secretaries know, go on the Google Sheet tab, and it tells you what the coach is doing every single day of the week. That way, and share it with the parents. So, and that's a document anybody can see. But the practice schedule's there, and even on the practice grid, they'll put down when their games are. Some even put like when their bus is departing. So it's a good resource to have. And that's a QR code if you want the slide presentation. I'll put it on social media also, and our emails. We're all pretty good about checking emails on my phone, on the computer. Give me about an hour or less, and I'll respond to your question, or I'll get you the answer from somebody. And we're here to support your kid. From a parent perspective, I just ask that get involved, find out what your son or daughter's doing here at Montebello High School, ask them questions about what they're doing, and stay on top of their grades. It's great. Athletics is great. Some of your kids are going to go on to college and be successful in athletics in college, but their best chance is the academic road, that they find a career and make you very proud. And we use the vehicle of athletics here in Montebello to promote that and really push them to be great young adults and great community members. And yeah, parents, just ask questions, and tell them that you love them, tell them that you're here to support them, and we're here at Montebello High School to support them. But just get involved as much. This is such a critical point in their life. These 4 years in Montebello and at your house will pave the next 40, 50 years for your son or daughter, because there's so many opportunities here from here and then preparing them to college. So let us know. With anything we need help, you call the main office. They'll direct you to the college counselor, to